right? It is also your opinions on this, of what you feel about it as well. A lot of these things is very obvious to us, but we're just taking that time to just go that deeper into the observation, the exploration of these subjects. Okay? And we're talking about relationships. Relationships. Now, when we're in a good place with our relationships, or a fantastic place with our relationships, a thriving relationship, or is it going to be a toxic relationship? Imagine waking up in the mornings, and the first thing you want to do is to get away from that person that you had previously chosen as your life partner, or the person that you are cohabitating with. The first thing you want to do is to leave the house, to just get away. Imagine if you're in a position that you cannot and you don't feel that it's safe to even come back into the household. Can you imagine that? If you never lived like that, or you're not in that position, you don't know. Are you a slave to a relationship? Oh, because we have children together, right? We have to stay together. Imagine if that is your description of what your relationship is. There are many, as we've seen and we've experienced, relationships outside of your relationship. Or they're making room for other elements. They're making room for other elements to come into it. If you are totally 100% honest, hold on, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. If you are 100% and totally honest in the way of how you are with yourself in the first place, then your strength of your relationship should reflect that as well. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you saying that I love myself. And there are many of us who don't. There are many of us who don't. Now, how is that connected? The hatred and the discomfort of who we are or what we are. Right? Here on the Blacknificent show, what I want to do is investigate that. I want us to go into why is it that we are not having these successful relationships? Why are we not having the longevity of relationships? Why are we not having happy relationships? Or fulfilling relationships? We have been hearing the discourse of the male and female element of, wow, I don't see how. And you heard the comments. I don't see how the sisters are so disruptive, right? They just don't want to be with us. They don't respect us as men. They don't respect us. Right? Sisters, they don't respect us as women. They don't respect us as women. Right? And yet, in yourself, are you exactly exhibiting that respect? Are you exhibiting that? Right? Are you exhibiting that respect for yourself so that anybody who approaches you knows exactly how you are, so therefore they would not even think of approaching you in any other way? If anything, they would probably want to emulate the respect that you have for yourself. And it's not everything could means or leads to a full-on relationship in that way. It could be just the association. So are we misreading a lot of these things, a lot of engagements that we have? Are we misreading that? How good are you at reading people? Have you actually examined your package, what you are presenting to somebody else? Have you examined your package? Because there's many of us out there who are failing very badly, very badly. Right? Instilling the confidence in somebody else to actually say, you know something, I would actually like to merge or be with another person. And then there's the element of, I want to be with somebody, but I'm not willing to commit to somebody. Right? If you want to go and have 2 or 3 or 4 other close companions in that way, so be it then. Let the other individual know that that is what you want to do. Then it's up to them to say yes or no. Changing a person. Changing a person. Why is it that we are looking and seeing what we can change on those other individuals? Right? Instead of nurturing and raising each other, nurturing and raising each other to the level that they are inspirational to you and themselves. I say that again, raising and nurturing each other so that you are an inspiration to you and themselves. To work on that. Look at the health of each other. Are you investing in the health of each other? Not in the sense of that just throwing money, but taking the time, learning skills to nurturing each other. How much do you as a man know about a woman? Or is it that, boy, that's a woman thing that I don't need to know about that. They can go to doctor and let them deal with them things there. This is why you're having other individuals, right? Male and female, right? Who's looking to churches to be their inspiration. Churches to be their surrogate husband. Churches, right? Or other elements they put higher than the person that they're actually physically with. Right? I had a conversation just, how long? 8 days ago. 8 days ago. Right? And of course, the God element. Praise. She was so much into the, oh, God is my savior, and he is the person who he is the thing that will save my life, and da 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 da. Right? And not 10 feet away, not 10 feet away was her husband. Her husband was 10 feet away. And of course, me being me, I said, do you speak of your husband in the same way? What took me to ask her that question? Right? Her husband, the physical form is right there. And she's telling me about God is going to do this, God is going to do that. God can save my life. Her husband is right there, 10 feet away. So, as I said, that question. Do you speak of your husband in the same way? And of course, who does she defend? Not in the sense of like saying, no, my husband is a very good man. No. It was a straight attack. So you don't believe in God? That's not the question that I asked. That's not the indication of what I asked. Was it? So what you believe that man is better than God? I didn't need to say anything more. It was just the one question. The one question. Right? So why is it that we are looking beyond what is here in front of us? Or is that the measure? Is that the measure? That every man, every woman must be a god or goddess. Meanwhile, are you personally the god or the goddess to attract another god or goddess? Are you talking into you, that god and goddess person? So imagine now, if you have another element into your relationship and your vision is beyond what is there in front of you, is that not a big distraction for you? I asked the question. 0207 193 0174. I asked the question. Where is your balance? If you want to go down that road, Dessa. Where is it? Because for me, I look at myself. Bring the best of me forward first, so that it brings the best of you out, so that we can rise together. If there's an element after we pass through and there's a conversation to be had over there, then I'll be glad to say, in this existence, I did my best. In this existence, I was able to embrace all that was there to offer. You understand? We must put our things into priority. The breakdown of relationships. Why? Because we don't do our due diligence in the first place. You understand? The small-mindedness, the distractions of life out there. We are probably, a lot of us, living in an environment that is not conducive to us. This is why we're having these mental dispositions, right? Because the environment is not conducive to us, right? Living in a city environment is not for everybody. Living in this cold climate is not for everybody. You understand? Just because we go on a vacation and the sun is good to our bodies and everything, but when we are there as tourists, right? Pocket full. But how many of us would be able to actually live in certain places that we go to make a living in certain places that we go to? How many of us would be able to do that? Nah. Personally, you have to go there with more open eyes. You understand? This is why whenever I've been approached about what is Africa like, 80% of my conversation around that, if you want to know what Africa is like, right, you have to go to experience it for yourself. That is why I encourage everybody to go there, to see for themselves, to develop that association for themselves. Do not take on what somebody else's experiences are, right? Because in many ways you are falling into the same trap that many of us have fallen into previously, relying on information that has been dissimulated from the truth for many, many years. Right? This is why you have different presenters, different lecturers, different material giving you different information. When you go and experience it and see it for yourself, that is what is assimilated for you. You have to go and experience it for yourself to get your body map, your mind map, your insular map plotted out for yourself. Feel, smell, touch, see for yourself. You understand? For instance, in my mind's eye now, I can transport myself to when I was there at the Giza, the great pyramids as they call it. Right? I was standing by the stone, and my first impression as I was coming out of the coach is, this is a mighty, mighty big construction. Mighty, mighty big construction, and still it didn't impress onto me the scale of what that construction was until I came closer to the building, to the pyramid itself. And I'm walking towards the pyramid, and the thing got even bigger. To the extent of that, with my limited eyesight, I can just about make up one end of the pyramid to the other, just looking on the parallel, on the ground line. This is how vast this pyramid is. Right? In the hot sun, the dry, hot sun. Yeah? That's all I could see was from one end to the other. And then I focused on one of the base stones. Well, the base stone that I could see that was on the surface, right? Because obviously there is more of the construction which is under the soil because of the build-up of the sand over the years. So therefore, the sand is taken and hidden quite a few layers of the pyramid. So this pyramid is bigger than what is actually being revealed to us there, right? Because you don't have a structure like that without a foundation. You don't have a structure like that without a foundation. But I'm looking on one stone. Now I'm 6'2". Okay? My arm span couldn't even reach across one of the stones on the base to touch from end to end. Each side of the stone, there must be at least another 3 foot each side, with my arms open wide. Head height. I'm standing against the stone, and the stone is still higher than me. This is just one stone. One stone. And one surface of that stone. I know what I'm thinking is, how did they do it? How did they do this? And this is just one stone. And me being the engineer, is obviously I'm going through all the technicalities of how they can construct this thing, how they could even move it, let alone how they're going to get this stone, the other stones on top of each other, which are of similar size and dimensions. How did they get the stones on top of each other in such a construction? Because even for them to even replicate that building or that structure today, they would say they would have to get the professors of engineering to come and make those type of constructions, and the labor force that they would need to make these type of things as well, right? So me with my engineering head is going through all those calculations. And that's the type of thing that I experienced when I was there. There was another sister who was on the same trip, who had the phobia of big buildings, the They have a phobia of like tall buildings and things like this, tall constructions, and she had this phobia. But she wanted to come to see the pyramids, and of course, overwhelmed by the size of this thing. Right? And it took a good hour for her to reorientate herself, right? To actually feel comfortable to even come off the bus to stand at least 400 meters away from the construction. But that sister had her experience of that. You understand? So me or we building ourselves up in ourselves, doing our preparations, right? Showing who we are straight away is that experience that we will have with our engagements, with each other. Yes, you've had other previous engagements with other individuals. Yes, they have been of different levels. It's not everybody merges with everybody else. Not everybody gets on with everybody. But your experience is your experience. And the thing is that it's the truth that you bring to that experience is what brings the longevity of. So do I come with my engineering element of construction and how I would look to see what I could take from this experience? Or do I come with the fear factor of the fear of the big building? Or do I come like into a relationship now with the fear of all the broken relationships, the fear of what I've heard about other people's relationships breaking down, the fear of how men are, black men are, right? Propagated lies, propagated statements, or other people's experiences of their broken relationships, right? Coming in with their broken engagement into the relationship because they've started that element already, because they come from a single parent family in the first place, and they're bringing that into the mixture. Or do you come from the fact that you've had mother and father to bring you up, to show you the way of how a relationship actually works? You've experienced it, you've lived it, you've seen it in action. You are still the product of a successful relationship. There are many of us have to really do that deep searching, reassessment, realignment. First of all, with who we are and what we want to bring. And what we want to bring. Because if we don't have that as our foundation, you will see that it will propagate right throughout your life through other things as well. It infects the whole of your entire being, the whole of your entire engagements with other things as well, because it's your foundation. Can it be fixed? Yes, it can. Can it be adjusted? Yes, it can. Are you willing to do that fixing? Are you willing to do that adjusting? This is the question that you need to answer yourselves. Anything that we are such a being, and we are so adaptable, and in some cases gullible, to the extent of that we will sacrifice our own lives, our own beliefs, the ethos of what we live by, just to move forward, just to be accepted in some cases. And it's a sad, sad situation. And this is what is breaking us down as well. They're looking for us to be that manipulative, or they're using their words of manipulation. There's a science behind this. There's a science behind it. Right? There's a science behind the destruction of us as black people. There's a science behind it. But you know the worst thing about it? The worst thing about it for them is when they come against people or persons who know what's going on. That's the worst thing that can happen to them. The worst thing. And that's what we do here on the de-brainwashing station, Galaxy, afterwe.com. That we come here with our teachings, understanding, and it's not from the one source that you are hearing right in front of you. It's from many sources as well. And this is why we invite you to come and call to us directly. Right? This is why we invite you to engage with us directly. So that we can all come to an understanding of what's going on. We don't want to be like your politicians out there, standing behind the high wall, right? Saying that we know everything about everybody out there. Come out when we want to be elected into the Houses of Commons, right? When we want to be elected, and then come out and pretend to be part of the society. Meanwhile, we know as soon as that date done, I will not be engaging with you in any constructive way. Yeah? These are the type of times when we need to know, well, go on with you. We are out here 100%. We are your neighbors. We are your brothers. We are your sisters. We are your associates. We are your working companions. That's who we are. And I don't see any change coming up in the near future, or in the future of our evolvement. I don't see any change in that. So as we do, we are looking for you to be part of the Galaxy family in them ways there. We have to be strong together so that we can work together.